live. Yeah, yeah, we going live. Hey, hey, we going live. Yeah, yeah, we going live. Yeah, yeah, we going. Yeah, yeah, we going. Yeah, 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 we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line. Hey.
All right, so it seems like there is a lot going on in tennis.
All the time lately. Like,
Yeah,
why?
it's like a lot. And I think there are stories that don't make the national media, that aren't plastered all over ESPN or Fox Sports. And you hear about those, and especially us, because we look around and look for sports stories.
Right.
But this one right here is disheartening. I vividly remember, I mean, well, they all are, especially Naomi Osaka and the stuff that she's had to endure. And it's like, you just want to give her a hug.
I know.
You know?
All the time. She just looked like she needed all the time.
Yeah. But this young lady, I vividly remember her. She may have only been about 15 or 16 at the time. And I think she beat Serena. And this was a few years back. And I hadn't heard much about her since then. I would check to see what she would do.
Right.
But, you know, I would see she would kind of get bounced in maybe the first few rounds of some of the major tournaments, where I would intentionally look to see what's going on with her. And so to hear this story and to see that, like, you know, she was starting to kind of make, you know, these pushes and getting deeper into tournaments, and to see her come out and talk about, you know, how exhausting this harassment has been and the bullying that she received over losing the US Open has really been disheartening.
I mean, did anybody really think she was going to win? That's the part I don't understand. Like, why are y'all upset? You just needed an excuse to bully her, is what I feel. Because you really couldn't have thought she was about to go out and win the US Open. Did you really think that? I mean, I know that should be her thought, but with people, are you really thinking that?
I think with Serena having withdrawn, and her being, you know, one of those United States players whose name is kind of known.
Yeah.
Like, I think that even if the expectation was unrealistic, I think that, you know, they see her and say, okay, you're next. We want you to win. But to your point, though, you know, why is that the expectation?
And
so
even if
so,
it was the expectation, why is it okay for you to do?
Right.
Like, send this woman like threats to her, harming her, or talking about how she looks, or like, what is that about? Like, what is wrong with people? Come on, like, just
what
go
is there to
walk.
talk about?
Have
She's
a
beautiful.
walk. Y'all too pent up in the house. Like, what is it?
I don't understand people in the internet. And this is what I have to say about that. Turn your phone off, turn the computer off. You know what I'm saying? And I know that's easier said than done. But if I don't like what people say online, I just ignore it. Or
pretty much.
I be on my Kevin Durant sometimes. I fire right back. That's certainly in a respectful way would get my point across. But when somebody says something like super disrespectful, who they don't know me or anything like that, like
whatever.
You know,
and these people that are entertainers and athletes, y'all should not be allowed what people say to affect you. But since you do, I can only imagine how hard this has to be.
Yeah. Well, and then look at the carryover from this. We hear about this story, and then right after, Shelby Rodgers comes out and talks about how she's anticipating death threats on social media because of her loss at the US Open.
Yeah.
And she said, she went so far as to say she wished social media didn't exist.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you how it cannot exist. Erase the app
turn
off
your phone off.
Erase it.
Yeah.
And I
Take
think
yours
that's
off.
Right. Yeah. That's kind of the thing that has to be done. And this is, I promise this isn't a thing to the athletes or anything like that. But if you're going to do away with it, you got to do away with it. Right.
But can they do away with it, though?
I think they can. I mean,
don't know that they can.
I think that there's a sacrifice that comes with doing away with it. Now, if you're saying that, okay, well, I won't be able to reach the same amount of people that I could reach, I won't be able to enjoy some of the love that I get from social media, then, well, no, you can't do away with it, but then you also have to kind of take the bad as well, or be able to at least ignore the bad, ignore those comments. If you see a nasty comment, report the person. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, so we're forced to take the good with the bad.
Right. Don't internalize it is what you're saying. Like,
exactly.
That's it. Just don't internalize it.
Exactly.
If you know, if they don't know you.
They don't know you.
That's my philosophy on it all. Honey, you don't know. Listen, what's that song? You don't know my story. Mm-hmm. You don't know my story.
Right.
So I'm gonna need you not to be in my business. It doesn't matter what your opinion is. Because again, I be laughing at people like, why do you even waste your energy?
And it's funny, I say that, and I used to all of the time talk about how, oh man, I'm just not a sensitive person, this, that, and third. And that was such a lie. I'm so sensitive. And that's coming from somebody who I'm very sensitive. Now, it's more so I'm sensitive about the opinions of the people around me.
The people that matter.
The people that matter to me.
Yes.
The people on social media who say stuff like, I remember one day I think I did a video, me and Elle, on Georgia Avenue, right there by Howard University, doing some video, and somebody commented and said I looked like a monkey or something like that. Like, and I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny, and I know they probably said that to be hateful and spiteful, of course, and stuff like that.
You don't look like a monkey, so clearly.
And that's why, like, some of this stuff, like, we can't internalize.
No, I won't. I refuse. Yeah. Listen, Sloane, Shelby, y'all need a life coach.
Yeah. Y'all need a bodyguard. Y'all need somebody to go punch somebody in the face.
I'm just saying, because really it's that simple. Like, we need to deal with the not internalizing it and not your circle of control. Again, I've talked about this before with my Advantage Coach YouTube page. Circle of control. Yeah. I don't have any control over what people think or say. And if it is not directly affecting me, I don't really care. So, yeah. Anyway, so I hope that these ladies, obviously we want them to be safe, but we don't want them to let this be mental turmoil for them. Yeah. Or emotional turmoil. So I'm really praying that they both can be strong and rise above this.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yep.
All right, let's jump to this Bishop Sycamore debacle. So let me first say that post-secondary high schools do exist.
Yes.
Right?
They're called prep schools.
They're called prep schools, where when you are a year removed from your high school class, you go to these schools to, one, not start your clock for the NCAA, but two, to kind of get another year of, being able to be recruited for one reason or another, or to get your academics straight. And I don't know what Bishop Sycamore was trying to do, but when you look at some of the players on their team, they look like they just came home. Now, I haven't gotten to investigate the whole thing that much. I know the surface level stuff.
It's bad enough. But that's when it's bad. When the surface level stuff is bad,
yeah,
it's bad enough. I'm really disappointed in this. Because if I'm just being transparent, it's little brown and black kids who are being exploited, because that's what that is.
Right.
In these circumstances.
Yeah.
Promising them things that just don't make sense.
Yeah.
Like, even to say that you started this just to give them a chance to play another again. What? Huh? What? That's not what this is. That's not what it's supposed to be.
I was saying, it's certainly not what it's supposed to be.
So it just really, it's disheartening.
Yeah.
To see, and at least I can appreciate the current coach, because the person who founded this, I don't even know what to call it, football team. That's what I'll call it.
Yeah.
That's what, I don't know what to call it. He is no longer with the organization.
Of course not.
And so this is a new coach, and it sounds I hate being pessimistic or skeptical, but I'm gonna say it like this. It seems like he's saying the right things.
Yeah.
So I hope that he's about action, about the right things to rectify this situation.
Well, I think at this point, because they're in the public eye, he'd have to be.
Right. Well, I hope so, or just shut it down, like real talk.
Yeah.
It's not beneficial at all if y'all not helping these kids to get prepared one way or the other, whether it's the field or the classroom for the next level, because that's what prep school does.
Yeah.
If that's not happening, playing these high school kids and blowing them out is just it's false sense of something.
What are you proving?
It's false. It's a false sense of something, and it doesn't feel good. It doesn't look good. I mean, it might feel good to the kids, but it doesn't look good. It's not actually giving them, you know what I mean? Like, it's not actually giving them any benefits. So y'all. And if you are serious about making this a real prep school, then y'all might need to holler at New Breed Works.
Yeah. New Breed Works.
Y'all might need to holler at New Breed Works for real, because there's some components and pieces that these kids of anybody that they would need what we have to offer.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
We can take this right on up there. You know.
Let us know.
Listen.
We love to work with Bishop Sycamore.
Yeah. If y'all gonna do the right thing.
I'm about to say we need y'all to get that foolishness.
Put the caveat out there. I'm not coming if y'all playing, but if you're doing the right thing.
Get rid of the foolishness.
Yeah. No more foolery, and then we good. Yep.
All right, let's jump over to this story about the NFL. And there's a lot going on in the NFL with testing, with vaccine rates, with, players who are, what is it called when you get vaccinated, but you still end up breakthrough
cases. Yeah.
And so Dr. Stills, who is, the NFL chief medical doctor, came out and said that Bill Belichick's statement about vaccinated players, coaches, etc., is false.
Yeah, because he said that they were high. Their numbers of breakthrough cases, in other words, were high.
Right.
He been hanging out with Cheeto too long. You just making up stuff.
Just saying stuff.
Just telling fake news.
And so from August 1st to the 21st, out of the vaccinated players, it's looking like 0.3 tested positive.
Not 3, y'all. 0.3.
0.3% of the players, which is, I don't even think that
minuscule. It ain't even worth trying to figure out.
Statistically significant.
Yeah. It might be 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Out
of them all. Yeah.
Out of all of them.
And among the players who were not vaccinated, 2.2% of them, which is 7 times more, tested positive, which shows us that there is some correlation between getting vaccinated and not contracting the virus. And so it's easy, and you hear people do this all the time, it's easy to judge, something by the very small part of it, or the by the least amount.
Of course.
You could just say, well, if I get the vaccine, I still run the risk of getting it.
Right. 0.3% that I get. Okay. Right. Okay.
But you're less likely to contract.
I mean, that's like saying I can still get somebody. I hate to be crass, but it's the only thing I can think of. It's like saying I can still get somebody pregnant if I put on a condom. Yeah, but it's 1% to 99%. Like, sir, come on, please. Please stop being stupid. Yeah. I don't know another way to say it.
No, that was the perfect example.
Yeah, like I can still get somebody pregnant. You can, but it's how more likely is it if you don't wear one?
Well, so you know what? And I guess our view on this kind of begs the question. It is Urban Meyer right to feel, maybe not the action, but is he right to feel the way he feels about, is he right to feel that way? Maybe not going so far to say, okay, this is one of the variables that I'm going to use. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
But so let's give a little more context, right? So Urban Meyer said that vaccination status played a role in his decision for the 53-man roster, right? And so when you hear that, the first thing you think is, oh, he's probably going to take a trash player who was vaccinated over a really good player who wasn't vaccinated.
Yeah.
But if you are thinking about constructing your team and you have two players who are on the fringes, right? And they're split down the middle, and the decision is, I'm going to take the vaccinated player over the player who isn't vaccinated. Is that a problem?
That scenario you just gave kind of makes it hard to say one way or the other. I think it then becomes truly about the objectivity of the person, right? That's making the decision. He's the decision maker ultimately. So it is his autonomy to make that decision.
Right.
And if that's the criteria he set forth, when it's that close, then sure. Now, if the first scenario you gave is kind of a little strange, right?
Right.
To say, I got this dynamic player that I know will help our team, because ultimately you're there to win. So this person that I know can help my team versus this player that is not so skilled. I won't call him trash like you do. This player who is not so skilled.
Yeah.
Right. So in that scenario, if you made the decision based on vaccinated versus unvaccinated, I feel like you are that's not logical.
Right. Yeah, at all.
That is not a logical decision. Therefore, then it makes me beg the point of, is something going on with you?
Right.
Right? Are you so phobic about COVID that maybe you need to see somebody? See, I go deep. Maybe you need to see somebody if it's to that point for you that you would make such a skewed decision. Right. But that when they neck and neck and I got to make that decision, then I feel like that's your right as the coach to say, I'd rather lessen the number of people I'm going to have on my team that could possibly cause somebody else to have.
And that is what I think is happening here. Not that vaccination is the key variable in the decision making. It's just one of many variables.
Yeah.
Because you hear NFL coaches say it all the time. The best ability is availability. Now, if I know if these two players are on the fringes and I got to take one, and it's just a good business decision based off of the numbers that we just gave, with it being 7 times more likely to contract when you're not vaccinated.
Right.
I run the risk of not having this guy
for 2 weeks. 10 days. Yep.
And so initially when I saw this, I was like, what is he talking about? Because I thought the most extreme case too. And
right.
I sat down and I was like,
what? You just don't have a team full of vaccinated people, whether they good or not? Like,
exactly.
What is that?
But no NFL coach would do that unless they were intentionally trying to sabotage the team. No NFL coach would do that. And that's why it seems more likely that it would come down to players who are on the fringes.
Yeah. Makes sense. I like that kind of, that point of view on it makes sense to me.
Urban, call us. You know what I'm saying? I just gave you some great defense.
Yeah. Because you're going to need it. Oh.
Yeah, because the way that your players have been sneak dissing you in the media is not good, not for a first-year coach.
No.
And this happens with college coaches who feel like they were the,
pinnacle of college coaching. Right. He was right.
Like, because we saw it with one of the greatest college coaches ever, Nick Saban. Yeah. He went to the Dolphins and tried to employ that same strategy of developing young men. And what he realized is that this works way better in college.
Yeah. And he was smart enough to go back.
Right.
He's like, oh, this isn't for me. I'll see y'all later.
I don't know if Urban's that smart.
We'll see. He might not have no choice, but we'll see.
True.
Yeah, we'll see. Because he worked for who? Yeah, we'll see.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a disciple. See. He's a Belichickian disciple.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Now put the cameras on me. 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 Put the cameras on me.